Good afternoon, Spartans. We're back for another Alma Mater Monday. Today, we have Mr. Robert Timms, which, I'm going to kind of ruin his surprise early. This is actually his first day of retirement. So, Mr. Timms, congratulations. Introduce yourselves. Tell us, when did you graduate from Southeast? Kind of give us a little background here.
Okay, yeah. Well, again, I probably will be remembered from most of my alumni as Bobby Timms. I graduated in 1977. Ooh. And that's I don't know how much of an introduction you want. I'm married, family, two children, three grands, and living here in Springfield. And so that's enough.
Yeah, no. So, what did you do? You graduated in 1977. What did you do when you left Southeast High School?
Well, I left Southeast. I left and went to the University of Illinois on a partial track scholarship, and I participated about a year actually. But my shared love was football, and so I went to U of I for that amount of time, and I would watch the football. We practice, track team practice in the stadium at the same time as the football players, and I was tempted to forego the little partial scholarship for track and go as a walk-on, but I changed my mind. So that was about the extent of it as far as that athletic career, if you will.
So you went to U of I. Now, did you graduate from U of I, or did you?
No,
Did
no.
you came back? So
Yeah.
I know that you just retired from working with Springfield Public Schools. What did you do? Like, when did you start working for the district?
Oh goodness. 1993, December of 93.
And
Yeah.
what did you do while working inside of the district? Tell us what was your job?
I was a maintenance electrician, basically, just kind of maintained that equipment, which how happened to get broken. And we kind of maintained, and then over the summers, there would be different new construction projects and improvements and those kind of things. So just general electrical construction, installation, that type of thing.
So between when you left U of I and when you came back to the district, did you go to study, maybe to a trade school for electrician, or how did you get about into that?
Yeah, I did. Well, actually, I had several jobs before that, but I'll stick to the apprenticeship of the trade. I mean, it was a union a trade, and I had 4 years of apprenticeship, on the job learning, and then in class at night. That was that portion of training that was required as an apprentice. And so went through that, worked construction for approximately 10 years before I came on to the district. So it's been mainly a construction career. Yeah.
Now, Mr. Timms, and this is something that our kids will ask, right? When you were going through your apprenticeship, did you get paid?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure how. I think it's changed now. I believe it's a 5-year apprenticeship, and you are paid in increments though as you continue to progress and learn, pass the courses, and get the evaluations
Right.
from your peers. But and so you start at one level, but by the time you finish, you're top level
Oh, awesome.
in wages. Yeah,
Yeah.
and not always in knowledge.
Yeah. That takes time to gather all that though, right?
Yeah.
Um, so are you ready to take the trip down memory lane and kind of go back to the high school days? Go back, put yourself back in the 70s and ready to kind of go through some things?
Yeah. Ironically, working in the district, it seemed as though every time I went into a particular school, there was kind of that walk anyway,
Yeah.
while I'm doing my electrician thing.
Yeah.
But I guess so. There was no questions about it. I would just think.
Okay. So the first one, I'll kind of throw you the softball, right? We'll get you the nice, easy one before we go. Do you remember who your principal was?
Oh yeah, Herb Scheffler.
Herb Schuff. All right. What about your senior guidance team? Do you by chance remember who that was?
I can see her face as clearly as I can see you, but I cannot remember her name.
That's been out of all the everybody, that's kind of that guidance team has been the one that we kind of stump them with. But we because now our guidance teams follow people through. So if I get recent people, it's a little easier, right? But you guys had probably a new one every year, if I'm not mistaken,
Um,
close to every 2 years,
I
maybe.
think it was every 2 years. Yeah. hmm Oh man, I can't think of her name. I can see her as clear as the same office that I go into and repair telephone jacks and receptacles.
Yeah.
Um, can't
What
call her name.
What about the gym? Was it hardwood or carpeted?
Oh, it was hardwood when
Hardwood.
I was there. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. We always got to bring that up and see here, but here's some stories about the carpeted gym. So that was one of the first things when I came up here that everybody, told me about was, the gym used to be carpeted. And I said, no way. There's, no, and then I saw pictures and heard stories. So that's a unique thing there. So
Mm. Yeah, I had the opportunity with Coach Tony Johnson. We would participate in some practices and scrimmages and things, and yeah, that it was different. It was especially for people like me who get a rhythm from a hearing rhythm from bouncing the ball.
yeah,
It was studied, so yeah, but it was different, really different. Yeah.
I wouldn't even know today if I could. It would throw my game all off. Not like my game's any good anyway, but I would be like, oh god, this is crazy.
Put your knee pads on.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. When you think about getting floor burns, now you're getting carpet burns.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
did you guys have open campus for lunch?
Uh, we well, when I first in Southeast, we literally were on split shifts at that time.
Okay.
As a freshman and sophomore, I believe, we were there for the second half of the day, and so I I'm not really sure about open lunches or not.
Yeah.
By the time we left, no. Uh,
What was your favorite Southeast school lunch? Do you remember? Does anything
uh,
stick out?
Probably I would go in and get a chicken salad sandwich. I'll
Chicken
never
salad
forget
sandwich.
that. Yeah.
So kind of a little healthy too. I mean, you were really getting the body ready for all these practices, which we're going to talk about here coming up. But I was always a Crispito guy. That was my thing. Like I like the little fried burritos with the cheese
Oh,
sauce on it. Like I could still remember how that tastes to this day. That was
yeah,
always my thing. So,
yeah.
um, what about we talk about with our kids, we want them to always find a place that they can go for quiet time to study and things. Did you have a place that you would go to study, like whether it be at Southeast or maybe it's at your house? Did you have anywhere that you could just go and have that quiet time to get away and get your studies done?
Uh, Actually, ironically, uh, too much of it was in the gym, in the bleachers. So it wasn't exactly quiet all the time, but I would, that was one spot. And then every now and then, I'll just be honest, I'd go to the library, the school library,
Yeah.
and so spend a little time in there. I say it that way.
I agree. I did kind of as I got to college, I realized how big of an asset the library was because it was quiet. You could go
Mhm.
there and do things as opposed to try and find a way away from your friends, your roommates to get that quiet time because there's not a lot. So I started taking advantage of the library in the latter part of my educational career. I wish I would have found it earlier because it gave me gave that quiet time of stuff. So
Mhm.
what?
I will say this real quickly. I don't know if I should tell. Well, it's long past, but I literally lived on Rural Route 7, and so there were times where I would have to go at night to the laundromat, and I would take my homework along with me and wait while my clothes were washing and
Yeah.
drying. Those kind of little spots, if you will.
Well,
But yeah, so I hope I'm not telling too much, but that was what I did.
no,
I mean,
you know,
we lived literally out of the district. Ooh, ooh.
Yep. Yeah, hey, that was a long time ago. That's okay. And you look at it though, you talk about that. That's a great, where you ended up, your work in the classroom by finding that time, whether that quiet time, because I know we're going to get into, you played 3 sports. I know Coach Thomas was calling you the greatest athlete to come out of Southeast,
Oh,
but
ooh, I was like
but we're
that.
talking that you found time wherever it was to get your schoolwork done. And that's something that, we really try and drive home to our students that, hey, a half hour here, 45 minutes there, an hour there, whatever you can do to get it done is the best thing that we can do. And, that's something that we're always preaching to our kids to really find that time and find it anywhere.
Mhm,
Anywhere is better than nowhere is kind of
mhm.
a point. All right, so we're gonna get into this. I've alluded to this three sports. Okay, what sports did you play at Southeast High School? We know you said track because you went to U of I, but what else?
Yeah, football, track, and basketball.
Do you have favorite memories or something that stands out to you that that just leaves that like this was awesome?
Um, well, relevant to the school or
Yeah, well, let's say relevant to your time at Southeast High School.
um ironically, it's associated with the people that were mentors or coaches. There wasn't so much any particular sport event
Yeah,
as I look back now and think back, but it was a matter of fact, just recently, Mr. Kai's passed, and one of the things that stands out so vividly uh, with my time at Southeast as a, I'll say it this way, student athlete,
hmm,
is that I had at one point started to go in a direction that would not be wasn't a positive direction for a student or an athlete.
yeah,
And one particular time I came into his classroom, and because he observed and he noticed and took interest, and he started telling a story about a fella named Otto Stowe, who at that time had just got his Super Bowl ring with the
yeah,
Miami Dolphins. And he painted a picture that this was a person who, to make a long story short, he uh, evaded the attempts to bring him and keep him down at a certain level, peer pressure, whatever you want to call it, and that he was able to separate himself and make that difference and make that distinction. And he's celebrating with him that he was Super Bowl champ.
yeah.
So let me just say it this way: I knew without a shadow of a doubt who he was talking to in his classroom that day. He never mentioned any names, but
Yeah.
but things like that. Coach Wendell Webb, who would spend the time, the quality time, character building time, ethics, work ethic, literally uh, accomplishments that are gained from hard work. So those, I mean, I could go on. I could go on. I even there's a Mr. McWhirter who was an algebra. I think it was algebra or geometry. I can't remember his math teacher, but certain things that they would say and do um, that enhanced character building,
Yeah.
even in athletics. So those are some of the things that stand out. Oh, I don't Larry Garrison, um, Bruce. Oh shucks, Bruce went on to be the superintendent of Rochester schools. I can't think of his last name right now, but those things I remember from how they invested and cared and enough to character build.
Yeah. And that's something that when, as obviously being a teacher and a coach and things that when and you're kind of coming full circle, right? Like I said, first day of retirement out there, guys. So awesome for Mr. Timms here, but we're our coaches and our teachers, and when we're that age, when we're 14 to 18 years old, like coach is harping on me. He's kind of getting at but they're teaching us life lessons or things
Yeah,
that they've seen happen to other students maybe, and sounds like that had a major impact on you with those with your teachers and coaches being able to talk with you and kind of lead you, it's because we get it. High school students, they stray from that path, but
yeah.
try and keep you on that straight and narrow, right?
Yeah. The hard thing about it is you don't really recognize it then, and
Yeah.
you think that they're just being hard or just being, singling you out and this, that, and the other. But at least I did, and
Yeah.
I'm not alone. But Mick Madison, I mean, he was my freshman basketball coach, and then we moved to JV, and he moved up in that area. Then he continued to be the assistant varsity coach, and I can remember the comparison from freshman year to senior year. Mr. Madison, I dare not say Mick, Mr. Madison would he was and Augie DeCenso, man, they were rough.
Yeah.
But Mr. Madison, by the time my senior year came around, matter of fact, I was standing in the gym looking down on the court watching the game, and he started to reminisce about the progression and
Yeah.
improvement and the maturity that he saw from freshman year to senior year. And he kind of explained, look, I did it for I see potential, this, that, and the other, you know. So that meant a lot, even the explanation later.
Yeah.
But when you going through it, when you hitting it and you can't seem like you can't do well enough or good enough, you don't realize how much character impact that's doing for you.
Yeah. I haven't, I had a similar story with a coach that I couldn't stand really in high school, right? And then he was always on me, and it was like, gosh, man, what? I can't do anything right for this guy. Got out of high school, ended up going back and coaching with them, and now if I have questions, I call him. It's one of those things. It's crazy how and then I realized what he was doing, and he saw more in me, saw potential, and wanted to bring it out of me. And it's crazy, like kind of the same thing, right? We come full circle, and we do those things. So it's not the impact that sports and coaches and teachers can have on us, because I know you said a math teacher and those things that they can just help us. We really don't know on the daily basis what that is, but it's awesome to hear. And I've you go back to Mr. Kai's, I've interviewed a bunch of people, and I think if we all could have the impact that Mr. Kai's had on today's youth, the world would be a better place. And I think that's something that we can all strive for, regardless of what our role is in society, is to help the youth like Mr. Kai's, because everybody's got a Mr. Kai's story. And that's
yeah, no doubt.
that's been the interesting thing to hear about those stories. So all right, so high school, we know you were very active. You played a lot of sports. Where was your weekend hangout though? What did you do after the games?
Do I need to tell the truth? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. After the games, depending on what season or what sport, would hang out with the teammates.
Yeah.
We, do the things the teenagers do. We go to the parties and hang out and that kind of thing. But that was basically regular teenage stuff.
Yeah. What about, did you have a job in high school? No, too busy.
I was told my job was to go to school, get your grades, and do well. So yeah, but I was fortunate from that point to have both parents in the home, both parents supportive, both parents give an example. So my job was to not make them upset.
Yeah. Hey, that was always my parents said, if you're playing 3 sports and as long as you're, getting the academic piece correctly, you don't have to have a job. Now I had a little summer job, but that was just for some pocket change right in the summer. But otherwise I would have, I had the same thing. The support system was huge because, man, I don't know how I look at some of my kids and what they juggle, and I'm amazed every day to see that they're coming to workouts, getting their work done, going to their jobs. And, it's really amazing that what some of our kids do. And it's pretty cool. So,
yeah.
So, okay, I want you to put your, you used to see kids in the building and do things. What would you tell one piece of advice to a freshman? If there was something that, at Southeast High School, you would say, this is something I think you should, do, or what would be that advice?
Overall is to remember the focus is on your education and that development. And then if you are an athlete and you have, aspirations to excel and do well, this may sound strange, but the real competition, if you will, comes from yourself. Come from within. So do everything you can to use every thing that's available to you to self-develop in character and in commitment and academically also. Now I'm not going to sit here and act like I was one of the top academic athletes, if you will. But now I would stress that. But and then also to trust the ones that are trying to help you. Trust the ones that are put before you, and listen.
Yeah.
and learn from
Yeah.
them.
Because I sometimes, you know, the younger kids, they come in and like you said, listen, right? They think, man, coach is really riding me or this teacher's no, we see potential. We want to help you and to do things. And my thing is always, I tell the freshmen, you know, hey, that your freshman year, that's your basement or that's the bottom of your house. Like if you want to build up, that's got to be a great foundation because if you don't have that foundation, you're always playing catch up and it is extremely hard
Yeah.
to do. And so we always, you know, we're really trying to hit that home with our young, you know, our young people coming in. And all right. So then on the kind of the far other side, what piece of advice would you give to a senior who's graduating?
Mm. Stay focused. Stay focused. Stay true to stay true to your ambition, because things are going to not always develop the way you want them to or happen the way you want them to, and then you're going to have to be able to adapt.
Yeah.
And so that would be, you know, a short line. Just stay true to yourself, stay true to your ambition. Don't quit, don't ever give up.
Yeah.
Don't ever give up. But so
So can I and with your ambition and staying true, okay. And if you don't mind, you went to U of I, you came back after that. How did you get into the apprenticeship to be an electrician? Did somebody push you to that, or was that always something that interested you? Or can you give a little background into that?
well, I'll try to blend it into some of my antics at school. Some of my schoolmates and different things used to say we should have known, because I was always playing pranks with the lights. But what really happened, honestly speaking, is that when I came from U of I, I soon was married and developing a family, and the job market, as far as I didn't graduate.
Yeah.
So I needed to do something, have a skill that I could be positive, positive production in life, and then raise my family and
Mhm.
the parent and the husband that I need to be. So I went to work, but I literally landed a job for the state of Illinois. And while I was working that job, there was a invitation, if you will, to if I was interested. They were in need of electricians, apprentices. So that was a trade, and I'll say that too. Not you know, education is the best thing we could do, but there's also don't just push aside services, social
Yeah.
services, and trades. And so that was something that was presented to me that I could gain, have a skill, a lifelong skill. And so that's how I got into the trade, and I went to work for different contractors.
Yeah, I mean, my roommate in college, his family owned a plumbing company, and so his older brother was a plumber, and then now my roommate went to college and got the business management side, and he kind of runs the office. But I always said, like when with living with him, you kind of that newfound respect for for the trades. My dad was a mechanic as well, so I saw getting up and going to work every day and doing that. So the trades. As I always say, college isn't for everybody, but there's something that, like you said, that education, like you had to have lifelong education being an electrician. You were always learning the new things and things. So continuing, that lifelong learner piece. So it's always find
Yeah,
something that
absolutely.
interests you and go get it, whether it be college, the trades, the military. There's stuff out there. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
always there's those things. We always want to, preach to our kids. Just be active and find something you love and go do it.
yeah,
Because if you love it, you're not going to work a day of your life. So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
what
That's
about
that's big.
what is your favorite memory of Southeast High School?
Ooh, favorite memory. Uh, I'll I'm going to keep it in the category of, I'll put it this way, of oh, which season?
Anything that sticks out. What's something that you would sit back if you're going to sit down and tell one of your grandkids, hey, this is what would you tell them?
Well, it wasn't at Southeast, but it was because I participated in one of the greatest state meets in the country.
Okay.
It was heralded at that time anyway. The Illinois Boys State Track finals. I literally participated in an event with Greg Foster, who went on to become, I think he's silver medalist in the 80, 85 Olympics, I believe it was. So I got to, uh, be compete, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
I always tell the story. Yeah, I got to compete with Greg Foster, who at one point set the national high school record in the 120-yard highs. And I said I got to compete with him. I got to see the back of his trunks, the back of his cleats, the back of his jersey, the whole shot, the back of his afro. So
So you got to compete against an Olympian. That's awesome. That is something that's cool. Through your time at Southeast and pushing yourself to be the best athlete and student athlete.
it's interesting you should say that, because I'll never forget. Man, my aunt lived in Chicago, but she happened to be visiting Springfield at the time. We were on watching them compete on TV. And I'll never forget, she turned to me, we were sitting side by side on the couch. She turned to me and she says, in that, because he was from Maywood, Proviso East, I think.
Okay.
And she said, how does that make you feel? Like, really?
Thanks.
Yeah. And I said, but I thought about it, and as quick as she asked the question, I was satisfied, because I said, Aunt Shirley, I feel very well about it, because I feel in my heart that I was the best that I could be. So, and that's kind of why I say I put an emphasis on, that main competition is with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's interesting. You said that, because that's exactly how I felt at the time, that I was the best that I could be.
Awesome. Hey, Mr. Timms, thank you for participating in Alma Mater Monday. Hopefully, we brought back some exciting memories for you, and I think you did an awesome job here, and our kids are going to be able to take a lot of things away from this. So, thank you, buddy. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.